All right, everybody, welcome to the Punjabi Chamber of Commerce. Today we'll be talking about how to apply for government contracts and grants. We have an esteemed group of panelists and moderator. Let me begin the presentation to discuss a little bit about the Punjabi Chamber of Commerce. But before we begin, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to reply back in the Q&A, raise your hand online. We're streaming on several platforms. So we'd love to know what your thoughts are about the community, the event that's going on. If you have questions for the panelists, feel free to chime in. So without further ado, the Punjabi Chamber of Commerce is a global organization. It's a nonprofit. It's been organized since 2017. We have chapters in several countries across the world. It's a fantastic organization. We've done a great job of getting a variety of backgrounds from different sectors and industries. We host events like this in government, technology, cybersecurity, all things that interest our members and people who want to join the community. And we have chapters located in the USA, Canada, United Kingdom, and India. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our moderator, Vishal Arora. He's a co-chair for the New York chapter. He's also the co-founder and managing partner of Bridge Gaps Real Estate. He's got 12 years of financial services industry, and he'll be hosting and moderating the event this evening with our two esteemed guests. Vishal, please take it away.
Thank you, Vijar. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We have two great speakers here with wealth of knowledge. Our first speaker today, our first panelist today is Mr. Harry Mehta. He is an accomplished information technology executive with a progressive record in leadership in cybersecurity education, assessments, audits, and compliance. He specializes in offering cybersecurity as a service for the financial industry vertical as a VCISO. I have to learn about that today, what that is from him. Advising on IT risks. He is available for consulting for startups to large businesses, working with diverse stakeholders, and he has a vast experience in information security on related fields, such as compliance related to cybersecurity and privacy. Welcome, Harry. Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm glad to be here. And thanks, Vishal, and thanks, Vijar, for the great introduction. So I'm glad I'm here today.
Awesome. Our next speaker today is Mr. Tarun Singh. He's the founder of Fourth Avenue Group of Companies, a real estate entrepreneur, investor, and philanthropist. He's also a licensed New York real estate broker and a general contractor. He has earned Streetwise MBA from NYU Stern School of Business, Strategic Steps for Growth program. He has over 15 years of experience in real estate brokerage, investment, and construction design. Built projects including New York City's school system. He has a vast range of experience in development of land, retail, and multifamily projects within New York City and Nassau County limits. TJ has successfully completed several construction projects for New York City School Construction Authority and internationally renowned companies like Lyro, AECOM, and TDX. Welcome, TJ.
Thank you, Vishal. Hello, Harry. Hello, all. Thank you for having me here tonight.
So, Tarun Tej, can I call you TJ?
Absolutely. That's what everybody calls me.
Exactly. So we all know Tarun Tej by TJ. I wanted to make sure that's okay. So first of all, thank you both of you, and everyone who's joined. Thank you very much for your time. You're in for a treat here. So today's topic is how to get government contracts, how to apply for that. It's such a vast topic that I have always wondered about. And that is one of the reasons I reached out to both of you guys to see if we can actually have a discussion today. There's so many people who don't even know what kind of opportunities are out there, a world of opportunities, right? So we want to learn about that today. So we'll do today's discussion in three different ways. One, we'll talk about what kind of opportunities are there. Second, how to go about those, and what are some of the common mistakes people make. And we want to not make those. We want our audience to not make those mistakes. So we'll go about that. So let's start with a brief introduction, or take as much as time you need, where I would like to hear, how did you even first know about it, or how did you come to know that these opportunities are available, and you actively started to pursue those opportunities? So I'll start with you, Harry. If you can tell me more about the background, how did you go about that, and what inspired you to get involved?
Definitely, yes. Yes, I used to have an office in Harlem a while ago, and that was a very rough neighborhood. I think I was probably a little ahead of the curve. I mean, I was in Harlem 8, 9 years ago, and at that time, Harlem was still getting built, and it was a rough time. And what I understood, being in Harlem, being working in the neighborhood, that there are several opportunities with the government sector. They help you, they develop you, they nurture you, they polish you, they make you bankable. They make you something which you could do to grow. So that's how I was encouraged by Empowerment Zone, and they helped me to understand how does the government contracting work, and they guided me to step-by-step process of getting into it. Yes, definitely the steps are not as easy to start with, but and definitely they are always there to help you. So that's how I started.
Okay, can you tell me, what do you currently do for the school authority, or what government agencies do you currently work with?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I was in New York, and then I said, okay, you know what? I don't know. I'm tired of crossing the tunnel and call that I'm from Jersey, right? So I said, okay, let's focus on Jersey. So folks started focusing in New Jersey, very much in New Jersey. A great concentration of human population here, lots of government services, and lots of back-end government services, which makes the New York City run and New York State run. So that allowed me to go into IT services to start with. We started to bid for the smaller contracts to work for giving out IT services to small municipalities, small libraries, and then we finally started to move up with MTAs and School Construction Authority. And finally, I think I settled down on School Construction Authority because you really got to find your path. You really need to find where you stand. As we train our kids, right? Try everything and focus on one. So I tried everything and then finally focused on one. And then on that note, selected cybersecurity as the final pathway.
Okay, thank you. This is helpful. I'm gonna come back to you on a bunch of follow-up questions, but I want to go to TJ now. And so TJ, walk us through your background. That's a pretty impressive resume. I see construction degrees, construction management. I see an MBA. I see that you're a broker as well. Like, that's a lot to handle. So walk us through your background, right? How did you get to where you are, and what agencies do you work with, and why?
So my story started in 2001. That's when I first came here in United States. From originally, I'm from Ludhiana, Punjab. I did my undergrad in business from there, finished it, landed here, and just like everybody or most of us, I went through the cycle of all kind of jobs, from gas stations to packaging and whatnot, until I landed with real estate brokerage. So I did that from 2000 onwards. I'm still doing it. Um, the construction story began around 2008. That's when the market was really hot, and I was selling a lot of these parcels or lands or old properties to these developers. They were buying it from me and developing it, selling it. That's how I started getting interested into it. I was looking for information. It was very hard to find. I tried different sources, and I got my first break on my own when I had a chance to buy and develop a single family into a two-family project on my own. Once that was done, there was no looking back. I ventured fully into the private sector construction. And I would always wonder who developed all these big buildings, these schools, all these public properties. And I started looking into New York City websites. Um, and that's how I learned about the opportunities that New York City offers for small business owners, minorities, and women. They have a special certification program. So I enrolled myself into it, got the certification, and my first agency that I got into was MTA. Everybody knows, the trains and subways and whatnot. So that was my first break. I did not do any work for them initially because I was not comfortable. That was very new for me, but I kept on looking more and more and more into it. Meanwhile, I enrolled myself into further education. That's when I started my degrees in construction management and simultaneously another degree in architecture and engineering technology. From that point onwards, I moved on to School Construction Authority. And since then, I haven't looked back. I have done a lot of projects for SCA, which is New York City School Construction Authority. I have done their auditorium jobs, their boilers, vacuum pumps, hot water heaters, mostly on the mechanical side. And now I'm entering into larger contracts, which are more like design and build kind.
Okay. Wow. That's quite a background there. Once again, thank you very much for sharing it. So you talked about getting certified. Can you tell us more about that? Like, what do you mean by that? New York City has a program, they certify you. Can you go into detail about that?
Sure. So actually, these programs are run by the federal government at the federal level, where you have DBE, disadvantaged business enterprises. You also have these at state level. State has DBE as well as MWBE, which is minority women-based enterprises, um, and similar programs at the city level, local level, county level as well. So when I found out about these programs and I started enrolling myself into it, I discovered that there was a lot that I did not know. And these agencies were there to help contractors like me to find out more about these programs, how to take advantage of these programs, how to work with New York City, and what does New York City expects of us, and what can we expect from them. So for a smaller contractor, having this certification is like a stepping stone. Once you have this certification, it opens your doors to a lot of avenues, a lot of relationships, a lot of opportunities for work, basically any kind of work that you want to do and you can do and do business with the New York City or New York State.
Okay. All right. So New York City has programs, but they're federal level programs. So these are federal mandated programs.
That's right.
Harry, can you talk about, is the process similar in New Jersey? And can you talk to us about the certification processes and what have you gone through?
Sure. Yeah, TJ did cover lots of crucial points here. And just the most important thing that MTA is a pioneer in creating the program for supporting small business community. They are the people who are looked up by every city, every state, and they follow the standards. They're great people, most approachable, very knowledgeable set of people, and they offer you a complete walk-through help in getting certifications. So depending upon your status, depending upon your business, right, depending upon what you really want to be doing in 3 years and 5 years, they will walk you through that. You could be a woman-owned business, you could be a minority-owned business, you could be disadvantaged business, and there are different other categories. They will help you identify you. So they will conduct an interview with you. They will exactly understand. They'll talk one-on-one. It's not like you send a paper and it disappears and then somebody suddenly contacts you. You pick up a call and you talk to them live. Somebody walks you through very easily, and they invite you for something called a privilege program where they train you, mentor you for almost 4 to 8 weeks. And the programs are great. They're very personable. They'll walk you through every step. They will introduce to many different agencies while you are getting trained, and they'll make sure that you are part of their whole incubation program, what they call it. And it's very easy. Just mta.gov. Just keep looking at registration, and it's very simple. But I can definitely share a link if anybody needs it.
Okay. So what we are going to do, this is amazing information. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work with you and TJ after that, and we can put together a simple one pager with some of these important links and share with the community so that they know about that. Harry, you talked about 3 to 5 year, 3 year, 5 year. So they mentor you, they make plans with you, they sit down with you and they guide you that what are your 3 to 5 year plans. Is that what you mean by that? Or
Um, yes and no. Basically, what I mean, they don't want you to stay small. They want you to start growing bigger, right? So as TJ said, he migrated working from smaller companies, then he's finally in bigger projects, bigger programs. So that is their end goal. They are really looking to make sure that you sign up with a small business, 1 or 2 people office, even a single person office, or just selling a paper towel, right? I'm just giving you an example. You don't have to be an IT guy or a construction guy or an engineer or somebody else. Yes, everybody has their own trade, everybody has their expertise, but you could be nothing. Nothing's going to stop you. There is a big buying market. They are the biggest investor for money and growth in the country. So they are the people who are constantly looking for the products. So they are looking forward that you are a you're 2 years old company with some sustainability, somewhere where you can see that I am capable of doing a project. I'm serious enough. I'm not a startup that I'm just gonna give a shot and if it doesn't work, I'm gonna give up. They don't want a give upper. They want somebody who is solidly balanced and who's really looking to grow. As our time is money, their time is money as well, right? And they value it very seriously. So they are really looking you to nurture you for 3 years to stay SBA, what we call a small business administration, and afterward they are looking forward that you become LBA, large business organization. Um, so that's how it is going to be.
okay, that's very good. So they are looking for you to grow from small business to a medium or large business. Okay, very good. Um, you brought up a good point, and I'm going to actually ask TJ to comment on that. Harry just said that okay, you don't have to be just in construction. That was going to be my next question. I'm not in construction, right? And I'm not in technology. Um, and a lot of our business, our members in our Punjabi chamber are not may not be in IT or construction. They may have a store, they may have a gas station. I see that Rupal, who's one of our, she's joined as an audience today. She has a print shop, right? So how do they know about what opportunities are out there, right? And what are we looking for? Like, is New York City looking for a wide range of things here? Please help us understand that.
All right. So New York City, between departments and agencies, if you check on the New York City's website, there are about 147 agencies, independent, with their independent budgets. And SCA is the one that I work with, and they're just one agency alone. SCA's budgets is in billions of dollars. Times 147 agencies, you can look how big the market is. Coming to your point, you're not in construction, or if someone else is not in unrelated field, how do they get business? The first step is, as I said, get certified, get your certification, whether as a minority or a women-based enterprise. When you are in those training programs, they have matchmaking also. They will introduce you to the departments. Besides that, the training is not only limited to getting this certification, There are several other training programs where they introduce you to so many agencies who are there, even private agencies. Now, you can look at Con Edison, you can look at Citibank. These MBE programs are not limited to Citi. The bigger corporations, they have also mandates. People are not aware of that. So Rupal, who runs a printing shop, it's a classic example. All these seminars that these agencies have, they need those print materials, they need those banners, they need everything. So if you are certified, when a requirement, it's a requirement contract, or if it's a large bid contract, they will publish a bid. If you are in a mentor program, it becomes more easier, because in a mentor program, there are limited bidders. You do not get to compete against 50 or 70 people. You only get to compete against 5 or 6 people. Those in the duration that you are in the mentor program, they're training you, and that's where these opportunities come up. If there was a requirement for a huge seminar or huge event where you need printing materials, they will bring 5 of you together and tell you this is a requirement and bid on it. So this is how these programs help you. All these agencies have their own programs, but you need the certification first. This is a stepping stone for, to get into this environment.
Wow, like this is mind-boggling, and this is really good information, because I thought we were talking about only the government agencies.
No.
Right? So a couple of key things that I want to reiterate, so all of our listeners can kind of understand what was just said, that there are 147 agencies just in New York alone. Every agency is going to have billions of dollars. And TJ, if I understand correctly, they have 20 to 30% earmarked for minority-based, women-based companies.
That's right. That's correct.
So it is a multi-billion dollar industry or market space that we're talking about. Be it construction, be it print shop, be it supplying paper towels, right? Like New York City needs paper towels as well. Who's going to supply? 30% of the paper towels, if I'm understanding correctly, are going to be potentially supplied by a minority-owned business.
That's
and you
correct.
just need to know how to do that. That's all it is.
That's correct.
Okay, so that is one thing. And second thing that you talked about is that it does not just stop there. The bigger corporations like Citibanks or bigger corporations have these mandates that they have to give business to minority-owned business as well.
That's
So,
right.
so that opens up huge opportunity for people who are in any other field, like financial services, small retail, print shop, for example. Every big bank is going to need some collateral that they need printed, right? There may be opportunities out there. Rupal, if you're listening to this, and we're happy to connect offline and provide more information, whatever we can help with. But this is great information. So how do I go about that? So this is good. Who wants to take this question, TJ or Harry? That if I want to find out the private companies, how do I go about that? Is there a central place where I can get all this information?
As in what information? Like how to
what private companies may be available for these kind of opportunities as well?
So when you go to New York City's website, which is SDS, Small Business Services, the portion that you are interested in is SDS Connect. That's your starting point.
Okay.
That once you land on their website, they will ask you what are you looking for. So you tell them you're looking here, you're here to get certified. Then you have further categories. Are you a minority or a woman-based enterprise or a disadvantaged business enterprise or a local based enterprise? You go through all those selections and they will assign you an exclusive agent. They will create a file for you. They will assign an exclusive agent for you. And that agent will be your contact point throughout your certification process. The certification, as Harry mentioned, you have to be in business for about 2 years. And within those 2 years, you have to be, you don't have to be making a huge amount of profit, but you have to have conducted some business to show them that you're an active business. If you qualify for that and your business is owned either 100% by you as a minority or at least 51% by you or a woman, so that's like the basic requirement, 2 years and 51%. If you qualify for both, you can put the application in. Once the application is in, you're assigned the agent. That agent will hold your hand, tell you what the requirements are, make sure all your requirements are completed, and submit the file for you. Once the file is submitted, it takes a due course, and they will notify you that you have been certified. Once you have that letter that tells you that you are a certified business, now you can start going to the agencies or the seminars. The other feature that SPS is SPS Connect. That's where they connect you with all these other corporations or agencies or bigger businesses. Once you are there, you kind of figure out which agency you want to work with. For some people, they already know who they want to work with. In my case, I did not know. I spent almost 3 years trying to figure it out. I went to MTA, I went to New York City Transit, I went to Con Edison, and ultimately I went to SCA. And once I was with SCA, I knew that this is where I want to be. So everybody has their own journey, but the path is kind of common. The beginning is common for everyone, which is the certification. Once you end up with the agency, yes, I think somebody asked this question, do you have to get certified with each agency? I would say more or less yes. If you're working with SCA, their mentor program will be different from MTA. MTA's mentor program will be different from, well, let me correct myself. Not every agency has a mentor program. Not everybody, all the agencies have mentor programs. The agencies that we are talking about, they do have a mentor program. They have exclusive training for these programs, and they teach you how to do bidding, contracting, what is expected from you once you bid for them and once you get a contract. So yeah, you can check out these agencies, and once you know what they're looking for, you can put the application in with those agencies, get on their bidder list. New York City has another system, it's called Passport. They also have a VAS, vendor access system. So you have to make profiles on all these directories and you get listed. Once you have your MBE certification, you also get listed on their website. Personally speaking, occasionally I get emails from outside vendors from that list, but that's like a blast email. It's a company soliciting your services and anybody else who has a trade code similar to yours. So I think I have better luck once I knew I wanted to work with SCA, and I stick with them, and I've been with them for like over 3 years now.
Okay. So let's go to Harry. Harry, can you talk about? I have a couple of follow-up questions for TJ on this, but this was well covered. Harry, can you talk to us about the certification program in New Jersey?
Definitely. So as MTA is a federal program, so once you are registered and certified by MTA, it gives you an opportunity to work with New York or New Jersey. So that's the best thing to do. Start with MTA. And then once you are with MTA, Bridges and Tunnel is one. Port Authority of New Jersey, that's another one, which is a very standardized and widely accepted certification program for getting registered in anywhere in New Jersey. Once you have this three base covered, you are almost ready to be in anywhere in New Jersey. And I mean, this is my personal take. I would start with little counties, start getting used to the projects and how they work and what regulations they're asking for, what paperwork they're asking for. So I would register personally. I would start with my own county, and I'll say, okay, you know what? I just want to work with the county work first, and make sure that I'm not at the state level contracts or the bigger buck contracts where I could make a little mistake and it could be real complication for me. Yes, my mentor is going to help me out, but this is how I reached out to them, saying, hey, you know what? I live in Bergen, so I said, okay, I just want to work for Bergen County. I want to be local. I just want to work around my neighborhood. I just need to cut my travel time, and I want to show that I'm available in 40 minutes. Once you call me, I'm available. I'm approachable. Right? I don't want to work in Trenton. It takes me 2 hours. Right? So that's a decision you got to make, and you need to understand what is your strength, what is your weakness, and approach it in a correct way.
Okay.
Right? So hope I answered the question.
Yep. This is good. So Harry, a follow-up question on that. So I heard that there is a couple of websites that TJ mentioned. Did you mention any websites where someone could get started in New Jersey, or Bergen County will have their own system, Trenton will have their own system, and things like that?
No, once you start with MTA and then you go to Port Authority, which this two certification you go to the local counties and local offices saying, hey, I'm certified by the big boy. I can work at a local level. And if in that case now school construction authority it's a huge authority, right? So and they have a very different regulations because they are dealing with kids, they are dealing with education. So they also mandate their own regulation on top of what Port Authority or MTA would regulate on top of that. So they say, okay, you know what? I appreciate, I understand. So if I need a 50-page documentation, I'll borrow 30 pages from MTA's documentation. You just got to do my 20 pages documentation, and we will certify you with School Construction Authority. They do work very much hand in hand. They have a lot of cross-platform connectivity. Department of Labor is also very impressive place to start working with. They also have they are one of the biggest employers. I mean, Department of Labor. So yes, that's a great place to start with as well.
Okay, great. And
Something
to
here.
read, sorry, TJ, go ahead.
Can I add something here?
Please.
So I just want to make one correction. If you are getting certified with SCA, that's on a county level, let's say New York City level, borough level. MTA is a quasi enterprise. It comes under New York State, so they will not honor New York City certified MBE. If you want to work with MTA or Port Authority, you need to be certified by New York State or New Jersey State MBE. So if you go on New York State's MBE system, they have a fast track application. If you put that application only with New York State for an MBE, they will help you get certified at the same time with Port Authority of New York and New Jersey and MTA.
Okay, got it. Thank you. So
Thank you for correcting, TJ. That's nice.
So I'm going to ask a naive question here. MTA, when I think about MTA, I only think about subways and trains, but I'm sure they also need paper to print. They also need paper towels. They need pens. They need pencils. They need supplies. So are there opportunities within MTA where I can approach them? If I have a 99-cent store, I'm sure a lot of people in our Punjabi Chamber are small business owners, right? They have stores, they're suppliers, or they're wholesalers. Can they approach MTA for those kind of services?
Not directly. They have to get certified first. Once they get certified, they have it treated as a key to open the door. That certification is a key to open the door to start working with these larger corporations. Once you have the certification, you get on their list. So once you get on that list, whenever they have a need, they will send you an invite, or they will publish that there's a contract coming up. So all these agencies recognize you not by your name, they get you by your trade code. So every profession, if you're construction has, it's called NAICS code.
Yeah,
it's
a six-digit code, right?
Right.
5
so,
or 6 digits.
Right. So construction has its own, printing will have its own, IT has its own. So there is a generic code for construction, and then under construction you have 50,000 different specialties. Depending on what your specialty is, there will be a further qualifier in that code. So if construction is 15000 and I'm doing, let's say, HVAC, I may get 15141,
Okay.
like that. So when a bid comes for your specialty, they will publish that bid to just that trade code. So not everybody's responding where they don't need to.
Got it. Okay, so if certification is the key, that means if someone is in New York, they need to go to the SBS Connect or this passport website, New York City Passport Program, and learn that, right? What is the agency that I want to work with? Understand a little bit, call them, ask them questions, and there are people available to answer these questions. How has that changed pre-COVID and post-COVID? We live in a new world now, so how things have changed, and if you can shed some light on that.
I have not had any experience with certifications post-COVID. Pre-COVID, once you're on that website, they would publish every week. They would publish on that website what certifications or what training programs are coming up. The best thing is all of those are for free. There is no cost for that. Even for getting certified, there is no cost. Getting training, getting into seminars, there is no cost. It's absolutely free. I'm assuming with COVID, everything has gone online, and the webinars or trainings that we are getting now within COVID environment or post-COVID, they're all through Zoom or Microsoft Teams. So with these newcomers, my thinking is that they will be getting the same training, same pattern.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Absolutely true. Yeah, and I recently got, I was in the middle of SCA certification, and then it was the COVID hit us, and I couldn't complete my graduation before the COVID. So even the graduation ceremony was held on a Zoom meeting, and there were all the big heads. I mean, you can call the department heads, they were present, and it was so nice to see that they take pride and they take so much effort, even at the staff level, right? I'm talking the Department of Labor. I'm talking the CEO of SCA. They are the people who are also participate in a graduation ceremony of 15 people who were getting graduated that day. So they took a lot of pride, and the speech, what we heard, they really made us believe that they believe in us. I mean, that's a key, right?
Great.
Yes.
I'm going to jump into the bunch of questions which have come from attendees. But before I jump into that, if I can ask you one thing, if you were to redo it, you would do it differently, right? An advice, a suggestion to the new folks who are trying to do it, one thing or one pitfall that you say, don't do that. I did that and wasted 6 months or something.
I can go first.
Sure.
I would do it sooner. I would not have waited that long. But jokes aside, I think one thing that I would have done differently is I would have approached like a mentor on the private side also, people who are in the program already, reached out to them and taken their opinion on it. There is always somebody in the program who can help you, who can tell you what direction to take, what pitfalls to avoid, how to do things more efficiently and better. I'm always been like a seeker, trying to do things on my own. I learn a lot, but I lose a lot of time also. That's my take.
Okay, thank you. Harry?
Yeah, TJ did cover the very interesting point. So yes, sooner is the one at the thing, but keeping the track of documentation, keeping track of time. Being a small business, being a people who are really starting up, we always assume that, okay, you know what, I'm a one-man army, I'm a two-man army, I will be able to do everything. But once you start keeping track of your time, track of your resources, and track of activities, what you need to be doing and what the activity you already done, all this four, I was struggling with this, right? When I started to get the projects, I was struggling with time management, and I realized that I should have taken care of that process sooner, and I could be in a much better shape. So time management for sure.
Okay, so time management and do it sooner, as well as reach out to someone who's already in the program rather than just waiting for them to assign you with a mentor. So that actually, um, then I'm gonna actually ask you guys, are you guys up for a small discussion? And I'm gonna offer it to our participants. Reach out to me if you want to hear from TJ or Harry and you want some advice. You are free to connect with them. They're on our Punjabi Chamber website. Their businesses are there, so you can connect with them on that or WhatsApp. But I'm happy to kind of arrange for a small group setting, 3, 4, 5 people. We chat just like on a Zoom, where you bring in your pointed questions that this is what I've been trying to do, and we can do a chat like that in a couple of months or next month. TJ, Harry, you guys are for that?
Of course, I have actually helped a couple of my friends already get these certifications and get into the SCA program.
Awesome, awesome. So this is great information. Okay,
I'm in for the two. Yes,
perfect.
sure.
Thank you, Harry. So let's jump into the questions. The first question I have is from Mickey. I own restaurants and catering and hospitality services, and I would like to know how to go about applying and win government contracts for food service sector. Mickey Chopra. So do you guys know about that? If one of you guys know about this, about food, this is not your field, but how to go
Yeah,
about it.
I'll go on this one, please. So, Mickey, I'm glad you are really looking forward for it, and I wish you a lot of success. I'm really looking forward that you make a big striving act toward this and move forward with a great attitude. So I'm looking forward, buddy. And the second thing, I would personally, I would recommend to start. Vijay just sent a link where he talks about all the contracts that have been published. You may want to start looking at the bid projects, right? What is available? What are they looking for? What kind of projects? What kind of in the industry? What is the exact requirements? So once you have a little more study about what exactly they are looking to buy from you, you may be able to in a position to say that, okay, you know what, these are the five things I can do, and that these are the five things I will be able to do, right? Once you have the wish list, you will be able to go get certified and then exactly approach. Because once you are getting certified and you are in the incubation program, you have people ready to buy from you. Don't want to be waiting at that time to say, oh, you know what, I really need to understand what can I sell. You should have that six items ready. Said, okay, if you're ready to buy, I'm ready to sell. So that's how the step I should take. Hope I
Okay,
answered the
so
question.
yeah, just to rephrase that or paraphrase that, you're saying look at all the contracts in the food industry that are put out right now, that this is what the state or the city or the county is looking for, then see what you can do, and then go get certified in those fields. So now you're able to provide those kind of services.
I can add a little bit more.
Sure.
New York City has an agency, it's called NYC Cares. They deliver a lot of meals to seniors, to homeless, um, and people who are, I would say, economically underdeveloped part of the society. You can look into that. Besides that, the MOCS, it's the Mayor's Office of Contract Services. You can reach out to them. Mayor's office also has a lot of public relation contacts. If you reach out to them with an inquiry, they will respond to your question. They will tell you what you're trying to sell, which agency is in need of that service, and they will match you with them.
Okay, got it. So both, I heard both sides here. So Mickey G, I hope that answers your question. Please write a follow-up question if you still have a follow-up question. Um, Rupal is asking, great information. Could you share links and agency list? We'll put together a one-pager and share that, Rupal, after the event. Now, Ashwini Verma has a question for Harry. I'm new to government business and want to provide software solutions to school transportation. What can be the starting point besides looking for bidding? Harry, your screen is frozen. I'm not sure if you were able to hear us. Harry, your screen was frozen. I'm not sure if you heard my question. You're talking on mute.
Yeah, finally. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening here. I lost my connections. I think we had some
Okay,
issues even yesterday, which we noticed. Some
let me
issues.
reread the question and let's hope
Please.
you hear it. So someone is asking, Ashwini Verma, I asked this question from you. I'm new to government businesses and want to provide software solution to school transportation. What can be the starting point besides looking for bidding?
Honestly, till they certify you and you're part of the list, you really can't do anything. So the first and foremost step would be to approach them, get registered, get into the mentorship program. Once you are part and parcel of the system, they will allocate you what projects you can work with them, what are the technologies they buy. I mean, honestly, I started to do security cameras, and that's how I started. And it took me a long time before I really could get into understanding how the system would work. And teacher was saying you need a great mentorship and approach us, talk to people, have a mentor who will walk you through. But before you do anything, you need to get certified. That's the first step. Nothing can be done.
Okay, sounds good. I have a question from Arvinder. Uh, Both husband and wife have two separate IT consulting companies or IT staffing companies. At least that's what I understand how it is written. Both, and they're saying, hope there is no issue in having two companies in the household. And what is the time frame to get certified? That's one. And second, they're green card holder. Can they apply for these programs with green card, or they have to be citizens?
The let's approach it one by one. I'll start it the other way around. The certification process takes about 3 to 6 months. It also depends on agency to agency, how much paperwork they have, how much caseload they have already. If all of your paperwork is in order, sometimes it's quicker, but figure 3 to months is a safe time. Green card is a must or a citizen. So being a green card holder, you are eligible, you are a permanent resident. Having two separate entities is not a problem. The problem, however, could be if both of you are bidding for the same opportunity. That would be a conflict because you will have to ensure that you are not bunching up together and undermining the bidding process. So you have
no collusion, right? So they don't want you to collude.
There you go. There's no bid collusion, so that's illegal. Besides that, I do not see any problem if you both have your own companies. The easier would be whatever bid you are bidding on, the other person does not bid on the same bid, and that would take care of that issue.
Okay.
Not think of it as a lottery that both bid on the same. One will one will win.
I like that. That sounds like a good jugaad.
And TJ covered it pretty well. Yes, definitely. That's how it should be.
Okay, sounds good. There's a follow-up question or another question from Mr. Ashwini Verma here. Do all the opportunities go through bidding, or there is any other alternative practices?
If you have a good relationship with the agency you're working with, there are something called a $7,000 to $10,000 pre-bid projects, which they will ask you to bid. And I think the minimum bid is three people's bid. It is never a point where you will be the only bidder. I think minimum three bids, and if the bid is within that within the price range, then you may be able to easily qualify without going into whole bidding process itself. That could be very much with New Jersey. TJ, you may want to take if that's similar with New York and other places as well.
Yeah, so in the bid invite, depending on whether it's MTA or SCA, the number of bidders have to be minimum 6 or 7. However, out of those 6 or 7, there have to be minimum 3 bids on the table. So other 3 could be may not have bid, or their bids are late, whatever. But they should have at least 3 bids that they open and then select the lowest bid.
Okay, got it. So you guys are not aware of any alternative track apart from bidding. All the work is done through bidding.
Yes, remember, this is all public money. They want to ensure they're getting the best bang for the buck. And nobody can get up tomorrow and say, hey, you, Mr. Person working for the authority, you are colluding with this bidder and giving all these opportunities to this person. So they want to be as transparent as possible. A lot of these agencies, they are so good. They used to let you sit in the room when the bids are being opened and you can watch it in front of you.
Yes.
Now, SCA, I know, whenever there is a bid and you are the bidder, you are involved in that bid, they will do a Zoom meeting and they will open the bids in front of you, all of you, and you can watch it.
Wow. So really transparent way. So it's really fair and
Right.
square.
That's right.
Okay.
Definitely, yes. Yeah, I've seen similar process. Yes.
Very nice. So next question is from Kuldeep Singh. To get certified, does your business require to be registered in New York, or it can be a New Jersey-based business bidding in New York?
I missed the first part. I'm sorry.
So if the business is, I believe this is Kuldeep Singh with a printing business in New Jersey. Just a shout out, he's amazing. And if he's registered in New Jersey as a business owner, can he bid for New York contracts in New York?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. The process is the same. You have to get certified with that agency you want to bid for.
Okay, got it. So you can be registered in New Jersey, but still come and bid in New York.
That's right.
Or Pennsylvania. Right?
That's right.
Thank you. Someone asked what graduation ceremony. I'm assuming after every certification there is a graduation ceremony.
Right.
So that's what you were referring to, right?
It's America. Even kindergarten get a graduation.
That is correct. Even kindergarten gets that.
That's right.
Yeah. So we have a question that they're asking if the panelists can take them under their wing. So we can connect them offline. So TJ and Harry both have already offered graciously that they are happy to help. We have the next question from Ravi Uppal. Can a vendor work with SCA as a sub-vendor with someone as yourself who has certification? Sorry, my screen is moving here. Can a vendor work with SCA as a sub-vendor with someone as yourself who has certification?
Yes, so he means be a second tier or third tier subcontractor. Yes, you can. SCA is unique in this respect. Even though you will be a subcontractor to me, you still have to be certified by them for your trade that you want to offer. So let's say I am putting up a mechanical, or let's say a boiler in there, and you want to offer your services to install that. I cannot just hire you as a subcontractor and say, he's my sub. They want to certify you that you are qualified for that trade. So they will qualify you, then you can work under me. Yes.
Okay, perfect. The next question is technical, so I'm hoping one of you guys will know what it means. are there independent agencies you might know of to help with expediting SAM registration, SAM registration, or help with DLA regarding CAGE code, CAGE CAGE code?
So I did the SAM certification for myself on my own. I did not hire anyone. The problem with that was it's a lot of paperwork. So SAM is basically for federal level. It's sam.gov.
Okay.
And CAGE code is just like a similar code that we talked about, NAICS. They identify your organization with that. And then you're issued a CAGE code once you're registered. So I did all of it by myself. I kept my SAM vendor ID for 3 or 4 years until last year. I let it expire because I figured I did not foresee myself working for federal government in the near future. And it's a lot of paperwork that you have to submit every year to stay current. In future, if things change, I can always go back and do it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Rupinder, hope that answers your question. And someone has a question, can we see which bid was accepted for a similar job in the past? So I guess this is a very good question because this person wants to see what kind of pricing is going on or who's winning, that kind of stuff. So to learn if this is for them or not.
Yes, all the bids are, once they are opened, they are published, anyone can see it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So where would those be? The same agency's website will have that?
Yes. When you are in the training with that agency, they teach you how to use their website. And one of the section of that website, it's called bid tabulation. They let you enter the contract number. They tell you how many people bid, what their numbers were, and who was the winning bidder.
Okay, got it. A women-owned enterprise, right? Is if 51% of the company is owned by women, is that the qualification, or they have to be 100% owned by women?
51%.
Okay,
51.
so that answers Rupal's question. And then Ashwini Verma has another question. I saw a lot of contract opportunities. So the way I hear is that if we are not certified, then no point of applying at all. Am I right? So you have to be certified to apply. You can't apply without certifying.
Well, see, here's the difference. The contract opportunities that get published, those are for general public. So if you are bidding for those, you are competing against 10,000 people or 1,000 people. What we are talking about here is getting certified as an MWBE and get into a mentor program. But once you're in that program, the bidding process is selective. If you're certified, you cannot bid for it.
Okay.
So your bidding competition gets reduced from 100 or 1,000 or whatever to a select 6 or 7 people.
Okay, perfect. So this is good information. I didn't know that you could bid for all the contracts you can bid, but then hundreds or thousands potentially people could be bidding. We're trying to take advantage of that slice, which is kept for small enterprise, small business.
Exactly.
Good. Perfect. I don't have any more questions. Vijar may have some more questions when he comes on, but I would like to thank both of you. Thank you, TJ. Thank you, Harry. This has been very informative, and I will be in touch. For all the participants, please reach out to me, Vishal Arora. If you don't have my contact, Vishal. Find me on LinkedIn or vishal.arora@bridgegaps.com, and I'll be happy to kind of do another session where we are doing a small setup, 3 or 4 or 5 people with TJ, Harry, so we can answer more intimate questions, answer questions on an intimate level. On that note, I would like to say thank you, TJ and Harry, once again. I really appreciate it. And I'm handing it back to Vijar.
Thank you, everybody. This was an amazing event, very informative, very engaging. TJ, Harry, thank you. There was a lot of information, a lot of detailed information, which was very important. Seems like a lot of people in the community are very inquisitive about this. think it's good to do business with the government. They are the largest spender in the country, you know, the trillions of dollars at the state, local, and federal level. So it's fantastic to see this. Vishal, thank you again for moderating the event. If you're interested to get involved with the Punjabi Chamber of Commerce, feel free to check out our website, punjabichamber.com. We need help in leadership, getting involved as community leaders. We have a lot of events coming up. We've been doing a lot virtually. We'll eventually do things online, in person and offline. So there's opportunities to get involved. We have 2 more events coming up in the next week. One is with the Women in Healthcare. It's on Saturday, and another one next Friday. That's for startup businesses. So if you want to learn more and talk about this with the community members, feel free to reach out to the New York chapter. Feel free to reach out to the global chapter. Attend these events, contact members in the community, and feel free to reach out. We're going to host more of these events. Let us know what you want to learn about. We're very excited to do more with members in the community. So let us know what you thought about today. We're going to have follow-up. We'll have a one-pager, a Q&A. Vishal will follow up. You can reach out to Harry and TJ if you have more questions about the certification and the process of working with the government. Until then, I hope to see you soon. Thank you, everybody, for joining in today once again. Take care.